Welcome to Office Hours by Triple X Church. I'm your host, Carl Thomas. I'm a pastor, certified neurohealth coach, and a guy who frankly struggled with a lot of the stuff I talk about here for over 20 years until I found freedom about a decade ago. In today's episode, I'm going to be jumping in and answering this question. My daughter confessed her addiction to porn. Are there any resources to help her repair her understanding of sex? That's what I will be discussing today. So make sure you hang in there with me. Recognize that no questions are off the table, and I'm going to be as honest with my answers as I possibly can be, so don't get offended. Without any further delay, let's jump in. Okay, so this question came in from a parent to our office hours page. My daughter, 18, confessed her porn addiction. She has had this issue for about 3 years. We are in a good path of recovery. My concern is the mental damage this has caused her concerning God's design for sexuality. Are there any resources to help repair her mind of the damage? So, I got to do a little interpreting of this question. So, hopefully, I'm going to answer what you're looking at. But it sounds like what you're saying is, hey, my daughter, she struggled with porn. She's confessed it, which, man, that's a great thing. We're working through recovery. Again, a great thing. But in the process, she's picked up a lot of bad misconceptions or habits or whatever that affects the way she approaches sex. And I'm assuming that way does not seem to line up with at least your understanding of what God's design for sex is. And listen, this is a common issue. It's you don't even need to be addicted to porn to have a misconception about God's design for sex. In fact, I'd say a lot of Christians, over half, I mean, I'm just ballparking there, but I think a lot of people, including Christians, put it that way, don't really understand the purpose of sex when you look at the big landscape. This is something I talk about in my book, When Shame Gets Real. There's a whole chapter on it called Sacred Sexuality. But we need to understand that sex, or the purpose of sex, is, well, it's, first of all, it's for marriage for a reason. It's not because God's trying to withhold his best stuff from us and just being a mean guy and just, arbitrarily saying, hey, you know what? I know this feels good, but I'm going to hold back on you until you're married. That's not the purpose of all this. That's not the problem. The reason he wants us to withhold it from marriage is because of the bonding effect sex has with the person we're having sex with. So a husband and a wife, they're supposed to be one flesh. They're supposed to grow emotionally and mentally and spiritually together. And sex is a very powerful bonding mechanism, okay? Because of, well, a lot of reasons, but primarily because of the neurotransmitters that get released when we have sex or an orgasm, right? The oxytocin and the serotonin and these things, they bond us with the other person. So when you're bonding with somebody who's not your spouse, that's not a good thing, right? That's not going to help out your marriage. That's not going to help out your future marriage. And it's also going to create some problems for you. I also wrote a blog post a while back called 5 Reasons to Keep It Buttoned Up, or 5 Reasons for Sexual Abstinence. I can't remember the exact title. I'll leave a link below. So you might want to check out those resources. There's also a course out there called Christian Sexuality. I think that's good. I'll leave a link to that below too. You can find that video course on our website. We don't produce that course, but we do think it's a pretty good one. It talks about sex in the grand scheme of things all sorts of aspects from a biblical perspective. But I think you can show her all that stuff, and that will help. Ultimately, what the problem is with porn is maybe not that it's going to twist her understanding of sex, but it might twist her expectations. And I see this happen with the guys we help all the time. Porn teaches you these false things. Sex is expected. Sex is should be just on demand whenever I want it. Sex is going to fix the problems of our marriage. Sex is going to help me feel better. These are all the things that porn teaches us. And so you watch enough porn, you start to kind of incorporate those into your relationships and into your marriage, even if it's not intentional. I know when I was addicted to porn, I approached sex with my spouse in a much unhealthier way than I do now. So those things are going to take time for her to kind of unpack and realize, okay, hey, that's not really accurate or true. But if she has a really good understanding of what sex and sexuality is about, that should help her a long way. And those resources I gave you, I think, can definitely help her or you with that. So, hope that helps. If you have a question for me and you want me to answer it in an upcoming episode, go to triplexchurch.com/office-hours. Leave your question there, and I will answer it in an upcoming segment. That's about it. Have a great weekend.